This is Business Inspire GY, a locally produced business magazine which seeks to inform, motivate, and empower. It also gives entrepreneurs an opportunity to showcase their products and services. In part one of our interview with Dr. Vishnu Durga and Keon Smith, we address issues such as common mistakes business owners make. Today we will be dealing with the importance of coaching.
Because some business owners think they can't afford training or they can't afford coaching. Not being trained, not being coached is actually costing you a lot more than if you were to just get trained and get coached. And in many places around the world, Action Coach only does coaching because when they realize, oh wait, you need some training in sales or you need some training in communication or public speaking, they can send you to some training institution. When we started off 5 years ago, we realized there's nowhere we can send our people. So we actually had to develop and acquire a lot of training content, and where we actually, on a weekly basis, all our clients get their employees trained with us. Right now it's virtual. Normally it is in person. And I think in the future it will be a combination because we are now able to train people as far as, was it Aichuni?
Aichuni,
and in Barbies and in Bartica and in Essequibo, who previously, they couldn't really access the training because they'll have to drive up to town and get back to their places, in the middle of the night, which is also not safe. But we have so much training available, and we're also developing constant partnerships to bring the training that is really required for Guyana and make it available to portions here in Guyana. What we have done though for the past 5 years is offered a free 2-hour workshop, a business workshop, where we teach what the key areas are that any business owner needs to know in order to move their organization forward. Because if tomorrow 1,000 business owners said, Action Coach, we're coming to you, we don't have enough coaches at the moment. So at the moment, what we're doing is we're working with the people who are really serious. They really want to move it ahead. We are opening up some group programs that, as little as I think 40,000 a month, people already get the coach. They're able to move along because we want them to get much bigger than that. And then move into one-on-one coaching and move faster. And there's so many of our current clients who went through a session a year ago, 2 years, 3 years ago, and they started using what we taught them and growing the business, and now they're ready to get started. So I would strongly encourage you to do that. If you think that, okay, you really want to learn a little bit more, or maybe even you want to experience coaching. This always makes me think about the guys who sell Guinea. I sometimes joke and say, they're from UG, the University of Guinea, because they learned it well. They know how to actually have customers. They allow people to taste and then buy. If you want to taste coaching, on a weekly basis, we do put aside 4 hours for any business owner who wants an hour, a session to kind of feel, okay, what is all this coaching thing about? Because it is very personalized, because everybody's life is different, everybody's business is different, so that they can experience the benefit, and then make a decision. Right? And most people who choose that route as well generally end up being coached, because coaching is free. Coaching pays for itself. If your coach can't help you figure out how your business is going to pay for coaching, then you don't need to be coached. Right? And that's also something that is done in that initial session.
Now, I contacted Action Coach after having an interview with one of your clients, Isla Curla, the owner of Sparkle Supermarket under quarantine. And as Dr. Durga would have said, she also told us that for 2 days she was not in that business. Her employees were basically managing the day-to-day operation while she was working from the outside to grow it. What I want to know from Keon as coaching director, how important is it for owners of businesses, particularly small businesses, to tap into services like Action Coach?
Excellent question. See, for persons like Isla, it's about having the business set up so that she can ensure that if she is away from the business for any reason in particular, that the business still continues to operate. As Dr. Durga alluded to, as part of building this business that works without you is creating the systems in the business. And we have been focusing heavily over 3 to 5 months on setting up all the systems necessary for her team members to be able to run the operation if she has to step away. And it happened where we're able to test the capabilities of the team members. Now, not saying to business out there that this happens overnight. There's no magic wand, there's no magic formula that we can use. It takes the owner's commitment, first of all, to build a business so that it can work without them. Secondly, it takes identifying team members who has the ability, they have the necessary skills in order to make sure they run and manage the systems effectively. And we always encourage our owners that if your team members can identify better ways to improve the systems of the businesses, then welcome it. Put aside your ego and let them tell you how you can improve the systems. With that in place, it allows her, while she's there, to let the team start testing the system. So pretend as if you're not there in the business, even though you might be there physically, and let the team operate. In that way, when it comes time for you to be away physically from the business, it's not going to be a case where they're going to be like headless chickens running around. They already understand what they need to get done and they know how to manage the day-to-day operations. For business owners out there who are looking to enjoy being away from the business and still having the business operate without pulling your hair out of your head, we provide that through our coaching services. But first of all, it would be important for us to have a one-on-one discussion with you to determine, first of all, is your business coachable? We want to make sure that when you come and you work with us, we can provide you with multiple returns on whatever your investment is. We want to make sure that you are coachable, which means as a business owner, do you have the I know attitude? Do you think that you know everything? Because if that is the case, you're not going to want to make the necessary steps to improve your business. You're going to believe that you know everything already. And number three, we want to make sure that your team that you have, your team is capable of helping you to grow your business. So we will look at identifying the skills and abilities of your team, identifying what training your team needs. So don't believe that we're going to tell you to get rid of your team. We want to make sure that everybody is on the same page and rowing in the same direction. So working on the systems, working on the business structure will allow the owner of the business to be able to step away and still have the business operating effectively.
And systems are extremely important because now you can start walking away from the business like Isla did as well. Because people know exactly at this time this has to happen, this is how we restock, this is how we treat our customers. Within so much time a proposal needs to go out. Within this frequency we need to actually check back on our customers. So they know to do that. You don't need to tell people every day what they need to do and how they need to do it. Then when we have these systems, we train the team on the system so they get really good at it. In Guyana and around the world, when we hire people, and especially our hiring system is not yet where we need it to be, that's another area to work on. But when we hire people, what we call an induction is sometimes we take the portion to everyone, hey, I introduce you here and this is your desk and you sit down and you've started. You're not gonna allow that portion to be successful. That portion really has to be special to become a really good employee. What we do otherwise is, 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, sometimes even 3 weeks of full out training with that portion before they're allowed to interact with the customer. Because why would you have someone fresh off the road interact with your customers and they don't even know how your company does things? So that is how we train the team on the system, and then we move on to what we call synergy. And synergy is when you can actually now take a general manager, maybe one of your employees that has risen up to supervisor, then a manager level, to replace you from a day-to-day perspective in the company. So you can really look at strategy and planning and how do you start multiplying, so that you can really get the results that you're aiming for. Because too many business owners are unfulfilled. When they started this business, they had all these dreams, they had all these things that they wanted to do with their lives, and then they became slaves of the business. Because if they don't show up, the business crashes. They're worried about who's stealing from them, who's competing with them. The only way they're competing is selling cheap as well. And that is absolutely the worst thing to do, because why get into a business if the only way you can compete is to sell cheaper? What do you think is going to happen when the next portion opens up next to you and sells cheaper than you? Then you're out of business, right?
How many businesses has Action Coach worked with since they were in operation 5 years?
I think we've worked with over 400 businesses from the time of our inceptions, and this includes both coaching and training. We've worked from solopreneurs, which means single business owners, all the way up to some of the larger corporate businesses here in Guyana. And one of the things that we do, you can find many of our clients in our Who's Who in Guyana business directory. It's a publication that we acquired the license for. This is going to be our second publication. Well, this year was a bit out because of COVID-19. Many of our clients are also featured in that directory, and it allows our clients a platform where they can not just showcase what they have to offer in terms of products or services, but also their team members, and give the recognition to one of the key elements in any business, which it's people. I think has been something that they thoroughly enjoy. So we've worked with over 400 companies here in Ghana.
This has been another episode of Business Inspire GY. Look out for us during the week as we bring you a special feature.